Well, Phillies and gentle colts, it is finally here. The next generation of My Little Pony has finally arrived, and boy oh howdy, is it truly a magnificent experience. And today, I'm here to talk to you all about it as well as my wholehearted thoughts and feelings of this new generation as a whole. Phillies and gentle colts, citizens of places all around Equestria, before I proceed with the main portion of the video, I must make an announcement. I, Snivy G. Absol, am a big enough stallion to admit when I am wrong when I say that all my worries that I had for this new generation, all my red flags that I had, were all null and void. That's right, every pony. Pretty much all my fearsome worries that I had for this movie went right out the window, and almost immediately too, I might add. I just wanted to let you know this before Hoof, so y'all have some great news to look forward to if you're watching this before you end up watching the movie for yourself. Honestly though, after watching the movie, and looking back at my worries, I was thinking to myself, man, what the heck was I so worried about, you know? That being said, this video is going to contain spoilers to the new My Little Pony: A New Generation movie. I implore you to watch the movie for yourself before proceeding any further with this video. The purpose of having a bit of spoilers of the film in this video is for the sake of getting my message across more clearly and concisely. That way, you can fully grasp and truly understand my words once spoken. Though there may be spoilers, I will still do my best to be as vague on certain aspects. Now, with that out of the way, you may now pause the video right here and go watch the movie for yourself on Netflix. I'll be right here patiently waiting for your return. If you're deciding to stick around, however, get ready for the journey of a lifetime. Or at least I'll try to make it feel that way. The review will begin shortly. I hope you're ready because I sure am. Now then, it's time for us to begin. Hope you're all nice and comfy because we have a lot to talk about. This video will be broken up into 7 major parts. Surface thoughts, just my basic general, thoughts right off the bat before I go in depth with it. The opening sequence, the plot, the songs, the characters, general thoughts, and my closing thoughts. So to elaborate, the opening sequence and how well it is, how good of a start we're off to. Next up, the plot, a general basis of the plot, nothing too spoiler-y. Then, the songs. Honestly, might even be my favorite part. Next to the characters, of course. Then the characters, going into each and every one of them, at least the main cast, of course, and explaining some in-depth things about them, and what makes them awesome. General thoughts, it's just my overall thoughts on the movie itself, and more in depth than the surface thoughts. And then my closing thoughts on everything about this movie. Now then, let's head right into the surface thoughts. I really love this movie. I just absolutely loved it. The everything about it was just amazing. Honestly, like I said before, I implore you to watch it for yourself because it was a truly truly magnificent experience that I wasn't that I wasn't expecting. Yet at the same time, I was giving them I had my expectations pretty high up there after over the course of what I was saying about like my worries from then till now. I was starting to think, yeah, maybe this will actually be pretty good, and my worries were getting nullified by this point, and it looks so beautiful. Everything is so magnificently, it's just aesthetically pleasing, personally, and the characters, the comedy and such is just, it's funny. The drama, everything is nice. So there are my surface thoughts. I loved it, honestly. So there are my surface thoughts for you. Now we're going to proceed to the opening of the film. Why I think this is important, because the start of a film usually entails how the rest of the film will go. If it starts off good, then most likely it will continue to stay good throughout the rest of the film and even get better. What was that noise? Now then, let's begin. The story begins. So the story kicks off with a happy little 2D animation showing off a little childly, playful moment of our beloved main 6 from Generation 4, with Twilight swooping in and encouraging our friends to follow her into another adventure. They proceed into a triumphant charge, showing off their unified strength, which is no doubt held together by friendship, as they mark themselves as the guardians of friendship. I really like this. It's very childlike and I enjoy it. It's like kind of like the beginning of like a children's storybook, which is funny, which is pretty funny. What's about to happen next. Anywho, the main 6 start saying to each other that together they will spread love, give hugs, and fry brains. What? Suddenly, the moment is abruptly interrupted by Rarity suddenly changing into this crazy red-eyed form of herself, saying that she'll use her magic to fry brains and whatnot. She even speaks in a different voice altogether, but ultimately this turns out to actually not be a part of, well, actuality. Instead, what is actually happening appears to be a simple act made up by the wonders of children imagination. This is where we're introduced to Sunny Star Scout, but not just regular Sunny Star Scout, no. We are introduced to her as a filly, playing with her toys and trying to have a good time. She is accompanied by a cult version of Hitch, Trailblazer, and Sprout. And they all appear to be playing along with Sunny's toys on the main 6, or at least trying to. So you see, Sunny tries to explain that ponies are all supposed to get along. This is where Sprout, who finds what Sunny is saying to be false and even boring, basically shrugs off Sunny's words, and it's clear by now that he was imitating Rarity in their imaginative play world, you know? And perceiving unicorns as bad and wanting to fry brains. That caught me off guard so much about the whole frying brains thing. It like that's so I don't even know the words. Anywho, of course, children of such would do such things like this, you know, like with overactive imaginations, playing and saying, unicorns will fry brains, oh no, perceiving them as monsters. But it's not just the children who are perceiving such bad things about these unicorns or even Pegasi. You'll see what I mean soon enough. Though I have a pretty good idea, you already know. Anywho, they continue to play, and soon after we are met with Sunny's father, Argyle Starshine, who appears to be applying the finishing touches to a special little contraption. Soon after, Sunny, Hitch, and Sprout come down from a little elevator from the top of Sunny's lighthouse home. Sunny asks her father to tell Hitch and Sprout that they're wrong about how ponies act, such as, you know, unicorns and Pegasi. Argyle politely dismisses Hitch and Sprout to go home, and so they do. They open the door and they are met with Sprout's mom, Phyllis Cloverleaf. It's clear right off the bat that this is not a very happy pony, and kind of bad news, especially since she makes a comment about Sprout and not wanting him to be anywhere near Argyle nor Sunny. Undoubtedly because of their belief of ponies getting along. She even says that Argyle is brainwashing Sunny and could potentially brainwash Sprout. What comes next, I absolutely love. Yeah. We get a good taste of what a great character Sunny's father is. So, you know, I could go on and say the first few moments of us seeing him is, you know, captivates that already, but that moment speaks for itself, and you just have to see it. That said, Argyle casually retorts by claiming that his nonsense that he believes in is actually called research, then proceeds to say that he leaves all the brainwashing to Phyllis. Oh, and needless to say about the whole her brainwashing thing, foreshadowing, and then proceeds to offer her a unicorn cupcake, which, by gosh, I would eat these. They look so delicious. And that's what I mean about the film. Like, it looks so beautiful. It looks beautiful to the point where, like, simple things like such as a cupcake look so appealing. Anywho, Phyllis tells Argyle that he should start acting like an Earth Pony since he is one, then leaves with Sprout and Hitch, and as she walks away, she rudely talks about him and and even calls him trouble. Sprout states that one day when he becomes sheriff, he'll keep every pony in line. Just thought I'd throw this little tidbit here just for later use. You'll see what I mean. What I love about Sunny's father here in the opening is that he takes everything that she said and in stride and just doesn't seem to care. He just keeps a smile on his face the entire time. What follows next is a very wholesome moment that honestly tugs at one's heartstrings. So Sunny is all glum and sad because like Hitch and Sprout still don't believe that ponies such as Unicorn and Pegasi and Earth ponies all got along once upon a time. And what's amazing about Sunny's father is what he follows this up with, saying that maybe one day they will. And what's important is that she stands up for what she believes in. And this leads to Sunny claiming that one day she's going to prove that both her and her father are right, and that she'll meet unicorns and Pegasi and that they'll be best friends forever. That, my gosh, this is incredibly wholesome because this scene and the stuff that happens after truly signify the loving bond that Sunny shared with her father. So they share a little playful moment, and then Sunny gets an idea, and so they decide, and Sunny decides to write a letter saying, "Dear Unicorn and Pegasi, you have friends in Maritime Bay. Come visit us." Sunny wishes to send it, and of course, like a great father he is, he agrees to do so. So they make a little floating lantern, and with the lantern, they attach the letter to it, and they send it off into the night sky. And as they're watching it float away, Sunny asks her father to tell the story again. And so, he begins to tell the tale of Twilight Sparkle and how she came to be in ancient Equestria. Let me pause right there and say, ancient Equestria. So the reign of Twilight Sparkle and her friends must have been so long ago. I feel like saying ancient Equestria gives a great implication of that. Give or take maybe like 500 to another 1,000 years. Maybe a bit less than 1,000, but give or take 500, maybe a tad less, but so on and so forth. Anywho, and continuing to tell Sunny the story about how Earth ponies, unicorns, and Pegasi used to all get along and be friends together, unified all together in perfect harmony. And he used this contraption that he was working on earlier to display such a beautiful nightlight representation. And gosh, the scene there is so beautiful. The lighting, everything there. A truly magnificently enticing moment that shows character and really tugs on the heartstrings, if you ask me. I feel the opening truly captivates Sunny's innocence and her spark to want to make her dream come true. On top of that, she has such a truly loving and supporting father. One that also truly believes in Sunny's dream and even share it, and encourages her to follow it, as well as stands up for what she believes in. The scene ends with Sunny's father giving Sunny a goodnight kiss and exiting the room while wishing her a good night before shutting the door. Sunny lays in bed and drifts off into slumber. Boom. Brilliant. A really brilliant opening scene. And truth be told, not even 7 minutes into the film, and I was already tearing up at the wholesome moments between Sunny and Argyle. I feel it was the perfect way to kickstart this movie, honestly. Showing the ambitions of Sunny and the support from her father, encouraging her to follow her dream to prove that every pony that's once upon a time Earth ponies, Unicorn, and Pegasi can get along, and that they have already. They just need to do that again. Here's where we begin the plot. Fast forward into the future, Sunny wakes up from her bed and is all grown up. She gets herself prepared, seeming like she's ready to seize the day. Furthermore, it seems on her calendar that today is particularly marked for something special. As she makes her way to leave her home, it appears that she's now living alone, with her father nowhere to be found. There's a moment where the camera pans and shows that her father's glasses is sitting neatly inside a glasses case, along with his necklace, as well as a framed photo of him. This, of course, leaves Argyle's whereabouts to the imagination, of which I'm sure we can all most definitely guess. What happened furthermore to insinuate this? Right before Sunny heads out the door, she looks at a framed photo of her and her father together and proceeds to talk to it, saying that today's the day, Dad. I actually have a plan this time. Wish me luck. Which subtly in such moments speak hundreds upon thousands of words. It goes to show, honestly, of what a great character Sunny's father was for the short amount of screen time we had him for. Now then, moving on forward. Sunny heads out the door, throws on her famously known roller skates, and breaks into the first song of this movie as she rolls her way to Maritime Bay. Now, I'm not going to get into this song just yet because we're not on that topic yet, but believe me, you won't be disappointed. Moving on, as she rolls into town, Sunny is met with grown-up Hitch, where, after a short conversation, they exchange a cleverly cool secret hoof shake together that symbolizes their friendship since youth. I don't know about y'all, but this definitely gives me Pinky Promise vibes. You know, the whole cross my heart and hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my eye thing? It's kind of the same thing, but honestly, I believe I love Sunny's and Hitch's hoof shake a lot better than Pinky Promise. Anywho, afterwards, we get a moment that tells the audience that Hitch is now the sheriff of Maritime Bay, while Sprout ended up not being the sheriff, I mean. And he ended up he wound up being just a regular old deputy. So much for those dreams of being a sheriff and keeping every pony in check, huh? Guess that dream is gone. Or is it? Anyway, moving on. Sunny was on her way to an annual event at a place called Cantor Logic, hosted by none other than Phyllis Cloverleaf. Oh boy. This place, known as Cantor Logic, and this annual event is apparently a place, or an event, that just shows off the advancements in technology and logistics. But not your average technology and logistics. Particularly creations where their sole use is to defend oneself against unicorns and pegasi. One of the contraptions, which kind of leaves onto a funny running gag in a sense, is a balloon backpack where you pull the string and it sets off a bunch of balloons. It gives me vibes of two movies, it gives you the vibes of Up, the movie, where, you set a bunch of balloons and the house goes flying, but instead it's they pull the string and the pony goes flying, and of course, someone leaves a window open and this pony goes flying off into the sky, and it's just gone. And this gave me, incredible vibes to... You ever seen the movie Despicable Me, where the minion drinks the potion and they go flying into the sky and even into space? It gave me vibes of that. The only difference between this pony and the minion that went off flying into the sky is that one of them made it back. So yeah, I really love that. I don't know if that's what they were going for that same semblance of what they did in Despicable Me, but I love it. I absolutely loved it. It seems that their sole purpose is to create advancements in technologies to trap and subdue unicorns and pegasi should they ever encounter one, It clearly shows that every pony of Maritime Bay truly live in fear if their primary focus on advancement is to create defense tech to protect themselves. It makes you question, how did it get this bad? Sunny sneaks into this event and accidentally sabotages it, rightfully so, because this is just crazy, it's unorthodox. The events, she sabotaged the events, trying to get a message to every pony at the event. Her message being that ponies shouldn't have to live in fear of unicorns and pegasi, and that what they believe about them is wrong. She even goes to say that, like, tries to say that, like, wouldn't you want a friend who can fly? Or a friend that can, I'm assuming she was going to say that a friend that can lift stuff with their magic and so on and so forth, but is rudely interrupted by Phyllis, saying that, you know, that they will fry brains with a single zap from their horn, or the Pegasi will swoop down and snatch your young right off the ground and things like that. But it's honestly false. Is what Sunny is trying to explain to them, that they lived that together. Once upon a time, they all lived in perfect harmony together, and we can do it again. But she's quickly shot down, and this is just goes to show how terribly misguided every pony is. That, you know, this one pony is now, Sunny Star Scout is like basically an outcast, trying to teach every pony the right way of how things used to be, and every pony is just shunning her away in a sense. And how the only friend she basically has in Maritime Bay is Hitch, which, great on Hitch, honestly, because even after all that, and after like the years they spent together, and Hitch knowingly is aware of like the things that Sunny is doing, he's still, you know, Sunny's friend. What's an interesting detail is that her words even begin to allure the youth ponies of the crowd into believing her. But of course, like I said, she's shot down by Phyllis Cloverleaf and is escorted by Hitch out of the building. After that, Sunny is left feeling defeated after her big plan to change the hearts and minds of ponies had failed. She's so defeated to the point where she even wishes her dad was here to help her ease her sorrows and hopefully help make things right. Because already Sunny feels alone. And here's a crazy thing. For added attention to detail, I don't know if y'all noticed this during the film, for those of you who did watch it, but as she wishes for her dad to be with her, she briefly glances up at the sky, which I'm sure you can all guess what that means. And of course, it makes this scene so much more impactful, so much more emotional and meaningful. And I love that. My jaw dropped when that happened, honestly, and I put a hoof to my chest and just kind of grasped my chest. You know, that was painful in a good way, like to show the emotional impact of the scene. So yeah, you really got to give credit to the makers of this film for that, because such small detail makes a big statement to fully emphasize an emotional scene. Shortly after that, we are met with Izzy Moonbow, a unicorn that strolls into town looking for friends. This, of course, makes the whole town panic, except for Sunny, who is actually excited to see a unicorn for the first time. Every pony is in a panic, and Sunny tries to get Izzy to safety, as all those contraptions and defense mechanisms start going off trying to subdue Izzy, who's basically harmless, and of course giving off amazing Pinkie Pie vibes. And during their getaway, Izzy stops at to look at a movie poster that is referencing Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And what's kind of funny about this one, that I find like hilarious to me, is that I've been making jokes with my dear friend Nick Nack about the release of this movie being Judgment Day. You know, the day, and how this will be the day of judgment for this new generation, and if it'll be worthy of, you know, living up to being the next generation. And so far, it's wonderful. I just love that, and I do love the movie references. Not only that, but like the other movie references, like horns, like the Jaws one. It's really nice. Anywho, Sunny and Izzy escape to Sunny's home, where she finds out that Izzy has no magic. And shortly after that, they set off to try to find out what happened to the magic, not only of her magic, but eventually to the magic of the Pegasi and all of Equestria, as they set off to Zephyr Heights, Bridalwood, and other places meanwhile meeting Zip, Storm, Pip, Petals, and eventually Hitch Trailblazer joining along the way. And so they embark to try to figure out what happened to the magic of Equestria, to find out what happened to the magic of friendship and how to restore it. And that, my dear pony friends, is basically the end of the plot. And my thoughts on the plot, I love it. It's such a simple thing that turned into such a complex, big thing. I'm trying to figure out what happened to the magic or just how to restore it. And eventually they find a way to, they have an idea on how to restore it, and they go through with it to try to restore it, of course. And the execution of said plot was so great. All the loving moments of this, all the memorable and enjoyable moments of this were truly a sight for sore eyes, an experience. Were done exemplary. I enjoyed it. The plot is pretty nice, and for those of you who are here and didn't watch it, you will not be disappointed. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, that is basically the gist of the plot and how I like it. I love it, honestly. And when I first heard the plot about the film, way back when, I was a little, I had worries and thinking I wonder how this is gonna go, sort of thing, and if it'll end up good, if the plot will be good. And the plot was good. It is good, great even. And the execution was spot on, I'd say. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, fillies and gentle colts. That is the plot, and my thoughts on it. Oh boy, we are moving on to the songs. First up is the song that Sunny begins to sing when she's roller skating her way out of her house and onto Maritime Bay. The song is titled Gonna Be My Day, a song that greatly captivates Sunny's innocence, charisma, and true determination to seize the day to make her dreams come true. And ain't no pony gonna stop her. This song is very catchy, the choreography is quite snazzy, and is a great way to show off the wonderful animations of the film, which I will get to, the animations and the beauty and all that stuff when I reach my general thoughts. But this song is great. I love it. It's really great for the first song of this spectacular film. It's off to a great start, really. I can definitely see myself waking up to this song to help motivate me to make my dreams come true. Next up, the song Looking Out For You, a lovely duet between Izzy and Sunny that reads that they have each other's back and that they are looking out for one another. Pretty simple, of course. It's pretty catchy, snazzy, all those kinds of things. Very sweet, honestly, and shows off the rapidly growing friendship that they share even having just met. I find the song very sweet and expresses how quickly ponies can get along, which gives me hope for their success. Couple that with the amazing sights and lightings, you can't go wrong with this song. That's 2 for 2 on great songs. Next up, coming in as the third song in the movie, Angry Mob, sung by our villain, quote-unquote, Mama Boy Deputy Sprout. I say villain in quotations because it's complicated. Sprout isn't exactly the main villain or a villain in general of this, kind of like a small... I'll explain later. Anyway. And for context of why I say Mama Boy Sprout, because in this particular scene that I'm going to mention shortly, we get to see just how much of a mama's boy Sprout really is. Now, here's the context. You see, right before Hitch decided to set off to try to arrest Sunny for her actions, specifically, harboring a unicorn fugitive, and doing that in of itself makes her a fugitive as well. So Hitch decides to set out to try to arrest Sunny and Izzy for the little incident that happened earlier, and in doing so, he left Deputy Sprout in charge while he was gone. Or should I say Deputy Sprout? Did anyone else notice this? Anywho, Hitch sets off, and Sprout is left behind in the station. Sprout gets upset and even throws a little bit of a hissy fit, that Hitch gets all the glory and that he's the sheriff, everything that he wanted to be. Soon after, Phyllis Cloverleaf, his mom, comes into the door saying that every pony out there in Maritime Bay is in a panic state after the incident that happened with the unicorn Izzy Moonbow invading, quote-unquote, their town. These ponies of Maritime Bay, they want answers, and they're asking around, wanting Hitch to solve whatever the issue is. And so Phyllis comes to the station looking for Hitch, but, of course, Hitch just left to go after Sunny. After telling his mom this, that Hitch just went out, after telling his mom this, he has a bit of a sprout pout on his face, and his mother realizes that with Hitch being gone, this is good for Sprout, because it means that he is now the sheriff. So she picks up a sheriff badge, which was actually the thing holding up the calendar, great detail, and places it on Sprout. And right away, you can already feel that Sprout is going to go power hungry from this. On the bright side, he finally gets to experience what he always wanted to be since he was a child. He wanted to be sheriff, and, well, let's just say, be careful what you ask for, huh? Fast forward a bit when he's more so in charge, and ponies are at the door knocking, banging on the door, even questioning what is Sprout going to do about this. Overwhelmed by all the ponies in a panic, this is his perfect opportunity to use the fear and irrationality of these ponies to his advantage, thus breaking out into the song called Angry Mob. And it speaks for itself. It's a song about turning all the ponies in Maritime Bay into an angry mob. And boy, oh boy, for an immature little mama's boy, Sprout has some vocals on him. I'll give him that. The song is about Sprout turning these scared townsfolk into an angry mob, using their fear of the prior incident to act as a retaliation in a sense. He says that, most likely they'll come back, and maybe the Pegasi will come back too. So we must do something. And ultimately, this gives him the opportunity to continue placing slander upon unicorns and Pegasi that he can use to get more ponies in the city to fight alongside him. And after the song, this is where they prepare themselves and even arm themselves to get themselves ready in case an attack does arise. He makes some interesting key points, saying that think what these monsters can do to us. Think how they can do what they can do to the status quo of their way of living, using their fear and their strife as a tool for his path of leadership, or should I say dictatorship. But it's a very catchy song. I love the rock. I love the rock feel to it, mixed in with a bit of hip hop here. The scenery that plays is wonderful, very spot on to his effect on using the ponies' emotions to get them to side with him and enter a blind, irrational state. And I also love the fact that the kid threw a plate of food onto the screen and it made a frowny face, just to show some added symbolism of them being angry. Oh, and also that one pony that fell into the bay earlier just climbed up only to just fall back down again. Oh, and I should mention that during this song we meet, I kid you not, listen, I kid you not, we meet the greatest character in the film, Hooves Down, You Cannot Argue. This was a character brought up by a prophecy, a legend, and his name is Rob. I'm just kidding. But there is a funny part in the song that involves this particular pony, who's named Rob. Yeah, I know, it's a very strange name, but I guess the times they are changing, especially if this is meant to be many moons ahead of G4, My Little Pony. But it is pretty funny when that part of the song comes up. Anywho, overall, great song. If you haven't listened to it yet, then you have something great to look forward to. Especially since this is the third song of the entry, and there's still some more. And might I say, an excellent third song. We are 3 for 3 on great songs. Anywho, now let's move on to the next song. Next up is Glowin' Up. Hey, that rhymed. 'Tis a song sung by Princess Pip Petals herself. First, let me say that I'm not really much of a fan of pop songs such as this, but when I first heard this song, and I didn't hear the song during watching the movie, I actually listened to it before when it was leaked, and I came to love it very much. And it's very fitting for the pop idol that Pip Petals is in Zephyr Heights. Very fitting, especially for her biggest debut of her new song. You know, that was meant to be her biggest show yet. And this song was a great exception because, like I said, I'm not really into the modern day pop songs such as, you know, the likes of this, because it definitely had that feel to it, but this was something else. I loved it. And before, when it was leaked and before the movie even came out, I was actually listening to it while I was working out at the gym. It definitely helped motivate me, especially with the lyrics. We got the light, we're coming in stronger, we're in this together. Definitely speaks a message about friendship somewhere in there. And, of course, I expect no less than this song to be sung quite beautifully by none other than Sophia Carson, the voice actress for Pip Petals, of course. Especially since my friend Voxel Hoof loves to express her love for Sophia Carson, aka Pip Petals. I basically hear it every day of the week. No offense to you, Voxel, I don't mind. I very much so love Pip Petals as well. She was very great in this movie. Anywho, yeah. Not much else to say about Glowing Up, but it's pretty great. The next song up on the list, and the last song of the movie, and honestly might even be my favorite out of all the songs, is titled Fit Right In, sung by Izzy Moonbow and the rest of the group. Now yes, I say this is the final song of the film. I could of course say that the song It's Alright is another song that comes up during the dance battle Sunny has later, but technically it wasn't a song sung by any of the main ponies, so I'm not gonna include it. But if it makes you feel any better, it's still an amazing song. One that'll get stuck in your head and keep constantly telling you that it's alright no matter how not alright things are, and that everyday waking moment is filled with endless sorrows and despair with no hope in sight for any salvation. Just kidding, I'm kidding. But if there was a truth to all of what I just said, is that the It's Alright song is pretty alright. In case you don't know what song I'm talking about, it's the one that played in the trailer, you know? The one that goes, it's alright, alright, right. Anywho, but that's not what we're here for. What we're here for is Izzy Moonbow's song, Fit Right In. My gosh! I gotta say, this might be my favorite one. As stated before, just everything about this song is so phenomenal, so amazing. When I first heard it, during my time watching the movie, and when it got to this song, I couldn't help but just be dancing in my seat till I started sweating. The song is about how Izzy Moonbow and what she was taught to believe about Earth ponies and Pegasi, but then states a clear message that take away the wings and horns and every pony is just a frightened steed. Then she goes on to sing about how we should all just put our differences aside and work together to bring back friendship and harmony. Because if you think about it, no pony has any magic, nor can any pony fly, so every pony is basically the same. And then the song leads into her saying that she's going to make some pretty nifty disguises for the group so they can blend in with the other unicorns. This song is so over the top just for such a simple thing that it's incredible. They didn't need to go this hard for a song, but they did it for us, and I love that. Like, this song is great. I've been like rewatching and re-listening to this song so much that I'm too far gone. Do not even try to stop me. But just everything about it is just so great. Like, Izzy's vocals. Izzy has vocal pipes for days, for moons. It's so phenomenal that how great she sings in this song. On top of that, with beautiful instrumentals, beautiful scenery that's going on as the song progresses, as well as the choreography of the characters, the dancing, the movement, phenomenal. And what I love, there's a moment where Hitch gets a chance to sing, a character who's like one of my favorites, if not the favorite of mine. And Hitch sings pretty well too. Like, they all sing pretty well, and I love it. The whole cast can sing beautifully, especially since this is the song that all of them pretty much sing. It's primarily Izzy with her divine vocals for such a beautiful song, but it is just it's so great. And the trumpets, gosh. Like, I could not stop moving in my chair with how wonderful this song is. Woo-wee! Gosh. Like, especially that high note she hit. That high note that Izzy hit right at the end. Ooh.
Now you're looking unicorn strong. This is how a unicorn ends this song.
I'm an avid singer, and I can recognize when someone's got vocal pipes. This is how a unicorn ends this song. That is, I couldn't think of any more clever way to end a song if I even if I tried, because I want to hear Izzy sing more, high notes and all. And like this song alone put Izzy way up there in my list of ponies that I love in this film. Like, way up there. I mean, she was already pretty high up there because I love the vibe that she was giving off. And throughout the entire film, she was just incredible. She was just funny. She gave nice comic relief moments. And as we predicted, she was seeming like a fan favorite, and rightfully so, with all the things that she's done in the film. But anyway, let me stop there, and I'll save that for the character talking about portion, for talking about the characters in the character topic portion, because I'm here talking about the song, which I've said all I need to say about the song. It is honestly, it's great. I keep listening to it over and over, and I love it. I just love it. Like, standing applause to this song. Whoever wrote this song, by gosh, you need a raise. Alright, I think I've calmed down enough to move on to our next topic, because that is all the songs we have for the MLP movie. 5 for 5 for great songs, sung by our cast. Now we're going to move on to the characters portion of the video. Also, before I continue any further, let me apologize for this video if it turns out to be longer than, well, at least I expected. I didn't expect it to take this long. It seems to be a common occurrence of me saying stuff like this. But, hey, the more effort and the more stuff I put into these videos for you folks, the better. And I highly appreciate it that you've made it this far into the video. Now then, without further ado, let's move on to the characters. Starting off with our beloved Sunny Star Scout, our primary protagonist and what we can assume to now be the leader of our main little group here. As I stated around the beginning of the video, I do enjoy her innocence and her charismatic behavior, and her strong ambitions to change the hearts and minds of all the ponies around her, to steer themselves into the path of better futures than the current present that they're living in now. Because granted, she sees that if ponies continue just to live about in fear of different species, such as, Pegasi and unicorns, then there is no harmony. Because she wants to bring back that dream of hers that she wants to bring back that
the old ways of how every pony was living in harmony, and to prove that it wasn't just a fantasy, it's not just some child's story, it was a reality once upon a time. So, you know, she's just trying to reinvigorate that reality onto every pony else, and to use that reinvigoration to bring about perfect harmony, like in the olden days. And that's something you have to admire, and that's something you really have to love and admire about Sunny, you know, and that makes her a great leader, and basically, you know, the next Twilight in a sense. Like, in her position, she would be Twilight, and it's pretty obvious that that's how it would be, because, you know, she goes out of her way, even since childhood, she went out of her way to bring about harmony, or at least try to, and to show that we don't have to fear other ponies anymore. Like, we don't have to fear the unicorn or Pegasi anymore, because all the things that they believed about them were false, and that they're actually just ponies like you and I, you know, things like that. And onto other things about her personality. She's, you know, she's clever, she's very smart, she's, like I said, very charismatic, and I admire her ambitions. She's a very ambitious pony, and every pony around her seems to be drawn to her, you know, ambitions and such. Like, you know, speaking for the rest of the group. So I'm very happy with how Sunny's character turned out, and I would honestly love to see more of Sunny Star Scout, because she is a very great main protagonist out of the group. I honestly wish I could say more. I mean, I'm sure I could, but like, there's so many things I could say about Sunny Star Scout, and how, you know, I'm proud to have her as one of the new main 5. I guess we can... Should we start calling them the main 5 now? Anywho, I'm proud to have her here and be the main symbol of this movie, you know, the next pillar of friendship, if you will, and potentially even the next guardian of friendship. As stated in the beginning of the movie, you know, like, Twilight and her friends are the guardians of friendship, and seems like Sunny is the perfect fit to be the next heir to that title, especially, you know, at the end of the movie, it was proven that. So that is what I think about Sunny. I feel she's just amazing. I don't see anything really wrong with her. She's funny, she's smart, ambitious, hopeful, on top of all that, because she did not really let what other ponies said about her get her down all that much. She still pressed forward and didn't give up, and even when things got tough, she still figured out an answer and continued to try again. And, you know, that's the type of pony she is. That she'll continue to try even during the darkest of moments. Just like Twilight. And I love that. Sunny Star Scout, you are A-OK. Beyond that, even. Next up, we're moving on to Hitch Trailblazer. And must I say, Hitch Trailblazer, as predicted, he was an absolute riot in this film. I kept telling my friends that, you know, Hitch Trailblazer, he's gonna be an absolute riot. He lived up to my predictions. He's funny, he's witty, shares a strong will to protect others, rightfully so, as the sheriff of Maritime Bay, holds high authority and believes in himself to be a pillar of strength, you know, and one who's not likely to cause wars, such as, you know, a certain red deputy, or, you know, I'm sorry, deputy. But yeah, Hitch Trailblazer, I just love him, and every time I see him, it just brings a smile on my face, you know. And in the beginning of the film, like, he wasn't, or not the beginning, rather, well, yeah, kind of the beginning. In the beginning of the film, you know, he was encouraging Sunny, trying to get Sunny to just accept that, like, the separation, accept that things are the way they are, and there's nothing that she can do about it. Meaning, like, that Earth ponies will continue to not like unicorns and Pegasi, things like that. But as the movie progressed on, you know, he came around because following Sunny's ambitions and her charisma, he really came around to saying maybe there is hope for, you know, magic to be restored. And, you know, that shows that he has an open mind for a pony he knew since his youth. Because they've been friends since they were little colts in Philly, you know? And they even have their own secret little handshake. And might I add, he's in the generation we had before with the main six. We didn't really have aside from Spike, but that doesn't really count. I'm talking about in the main little group here. He's the first male of the main group, you know? Like, we actually have a male main character. And shows that, you know, even a male stallion such as him can also be as equally as fantastic as the mares. Now, I'm not trying to make this anything about gender or anything such as that. It doesn't matter what race or gender you are, you can still make a great impact upon those around you and even the audience such as us who watch you go through your character development. And Hitch definitely went through some pretty interesting character development. You know, for him to be the pillar of strength for many of those who depend on him, who look up to him, as Sunny stated in the beginning of the movie, that is shown to be correct, you know? He's strong-willed as well. Critters love him. Happens almost immediately. They follow him around. He's like a magnet to creatures and such. You know, that should show what a kind soul that he is. And I guess the point what I was trying to make about the him being, you know, the only male in the group, you know, I guess it's for some of the males to have a pony to relate to in a sense, which, you know, even with the prior generation only had all mares. The prior generation only had mares in their group, but, you know, we could still relate to them, even no matter if they were a stallion or a mare. I just hope I'm getting the right message across. I don't only like Hitch because he's like a male in the group. I'm not trying to make it about like gender or anything, because he's a great character, and I just find it interesting that, you know, the previous generation only had females, but to include that one little thing that he's a male and the only male in the group, it just it means quite a big thing, you know? Like, it's very interesting because you would like to see the kinds of things he would have to go through and the kind of funny, wacky interactions that he may encounter that you wouldn't normally see from the prior generation. And like I said, it doesn't matter what gender you are. It doesn't matter what species you are, if you are a changeling or a Kieran, things like that. Having you in a group such as means that you have a great significance. I know I'm kind of going off a bit of a tangent here, rather than discussing his character, but I just wanted to get my message across clearly, because, you know, I feel Hitch is an underappreciated character, honestly, because, you know, a lot of the prior generation had primarily females, all females, and, you know, to have Hitch in the group, in a way, he kind of stands out, and that's good about him, you know? That's good character on him, because he's a lot. I've seen not much things about him that, like, not many ponies out there like Hitch, or like they're usually gawking over Sunny or Izzy, you know, things like that, and which is understandable in a sense, but at the same time, you know, you gotta give them all love, you know, and I mean all of them, even to the ones that I thought wouldn't be as great. I'll explain that when I get to Zipstorm. I'll elaborate that further when I get to Zip Storm, okay? So, basically what I'm trying to say is that, like, they all deserve their shot equally here to be loved, well, equally. Because Hitch, he's a great character. Give him a chance, and maybe even include him as your fan favorite, Because I know he's my fan favorite. Maybe I think I like him, like, yeah, and this is hard for me to say. I think I like him a bit more than Sunny, but I'm not too sure, because I also want to kind of love them all equally now, because after watching the film, they are incredible, and it's wow, because like Hitch, he's so funny, he makes the scenes that much more enjoyable just from him being around, because he's like a symbol just from, just being around with the group. He's a symbol in a sense, and I really like that about Hitch, because like when I first saw that, like, we're gonna get this stallion for one of the main characters in the new generation, I was very excited. I saw the potential in Hitch, and it was great, and I was right to on that, me seeing his potential. And I have an knack for seeing potential in folks. Just ask Knick-Knack. Anywho, I saw great potential in Hitch, and I love that. I love that I saw that, and that he lived up to the great potential that he had. He still has, so on and so forth. So that's why I love Hitch. I honestly hope to see more of him because he's a riot. I love him. And I told you, I've been saying it since the very beginning, Hitch starts fires. Even if it's just the littlest of fires. Next up, we have Izzy Moonbow. An innocent, fun-loving little unicorn that is into arts and crafts and can really sing. And I mean, she can sing. When I first saw Izzy Moonbow, I predicted that she was just gonna be like the dolt of the group, and I was kind of right, but at the same time, it's like she's pretty clever, witty, has good comic relief for situations. She makes even in the littlest of things, she makes scenes so hilarious. And in the film, it shows that she was always taught that Earth ponies were dumb and things like that. They smelled, and Pegasi were brutes and bad news, things like that, pesky and such. But even having been taught that, she still went out of her way to travel far and try to make new friends. And the reasoning behind this is because, well, if you remember that lantern that Sunny set out in the beginning with her father when she was a filly, what was really amazing is that it was Izzy who ended up finding the lantern and finding the letter that was attached to the lantern. And during the sitting of a campfire, she was the one who pulled out the letter from her mane and immediately realized that it was Sunny who sent the letter without Sunny even confirming it first, because that should let you know that Sunny has quite a bit of intelligence. She's not like a dullard or anything of that, not saying that like, oh, she's when I say dolt, that she was gonna be the dolt of the group, I mean she was gonna be like, she was just gonna like playfully act dumb, not saying that she actually is dumb, like that's just kind of thing. And even if she was, I wouldn't, I think there would be some intelligence there. But like, what I'm saying is that, she's like me. She can, pick up on things. And when she sees it, and she doesn't even need other ponies to even say it. Because the moment she pulled out that letter that Sunny sent when she was a child, mind you, that she kept it all these years, assuming she, found it when around the time when Izzy was young. But if she just found it recently, then, well, still, the fact that she found the letter was pretty great, and she immediately knew before Sunny said anything that Sunny was the one who sent it. That you have friends in Maritime Bay, and she went out of her way to go see if this was true, and it ended up being the best decision of her life. and she didn't want it to end because she wanted to stay by Sunny's side along with the rest of the group. She was like the best day she ever had. And you know, that bit of innocence of her, and she deserves every bit of happiness that she gets, you know, because in a world where Unicorn Pegasi and Earth Ponies are all separated because they all hate each other, it's like that you would be in desperate need of a friend, really. And so she saw that note, that letter from Sunny as a spark of hope. And you know, her kindness, her dopiness, her wackiness even, and even eccentricness, and as well as giving off major Pinkie Pie vibes. It's what made her connect so well with Sunny, you know, her friendly attitude and her wondrous like joy from experiencing something new and experiencing friendship, you know, in a whole new way, if not experience friendship for the first time, you know, like true friendship. And you know, that I'd say that's explains why Izzy connected so well with Sunny, and eventually ended up connecting so well with the others, you know, especially with that song of hers, Fit Right In, bringing every pony else closer together, because that, like I mentioned, that song felt like it was about bringing every pony together and setting their differences aside to make things work and, you know, go all or nothing to try to help Equestria regain its magic. And, you know, that, I guess that in and of itself should show you that how smart Izzy really is, you know? My god, her innocence is so adorable. She's very adorable. She's very kind, to say the least. All the things that every pony can tell just from one glance at her. You know, very wacky. We need her kind of character for good comic relief, you know? One that we can always turn to for a great smile. And deep in our hearts, if we ever see her in sorrow, it would put our hearts in a deep state of pain and sadness, because let's be real here, look into my eyes. Would any of you want to see Izzy sad? No, because she's such a happy character that you would never want to see her feel any sort of sadness, because of like her innocence and her kind, happy-go-lucky attitude is what makes her great and unique, you know, similar to Pinkie Pie. And you know, I'm happy to see her as part of a group to fill in that role of, you know, laughter in a sense, because she does give us a lot of great laughter, and she makes us smile, she makes us laugh. I just said that, I know, but she just brightens up our day. At least, you know, that's how I feel. So yeah, that's all I have to really say about Izzy Moonbow. I honestly didn't expect myself to say so much, but hey, she's a great character. So there's that piece said. And now we shall move on. Next up on the list is Zip Storm. Now, I feel I owe Zip Storm an apology, personally, because, you know, I did make fun of her during that one video of, you know, the Zip Storm and Pip Petals reveal and such, saying how she looked like a troll doll and things like that. But, you know, it was foolish of me for to do that, honestly, because one shouldn't really judge on looks alone, which, you know, I knew that at the time I'm saying that. Like, and, you know, I had a problem with her look, but, you know, after watching the movie, I actually came to enjoy her design, you know, and I actually came to like it. And, you know, who knows, maybe I'll even grow to the point of even loving it, because, you know, of course I gave her the benefit of the doubt in terms of her character and such, because, you know, I wasn't, with what all the news and stuff and leaks was saying about, like, the MLP movie back then, the things that was causing all my red flags and worries with the whole diversity and inclusion sort of thing, like, it kind of added on to the worry, and Zip, given her appearance, kind of amplified that worry, but after seeing the movie, no, she isn't anything like I expected. Well, in a sense, she was. I knew she was gonna be pretty nice. I thought she was gonna be more of a hard-headed character in a sense, like more hardened and such. But no, that didn't turn out to be the case. But going back a bit, I did make fun of her appearance, But I like I said, I gave her the benefit of the doubt because I knew maybe her character will be pretty nice, and such, and maybe I'll grow to love her appearance, and that's might already be happening inside me, and I don't even know it yet, because seeing her in motion in the animations and such, her character express herself through movements and her speech, things like that, it really turned me around. She's a character that sees that things can be better, that life can be better than the one she's currently living in. And to, elaborate on that, is that her whole deal is that she knew that once upon a time that Earth ponies, unicorns, and Pegasi were all once living in, decent harmony. And, give an example, that train station, or that station that she took Izzy and Sunny to show as proof of such, And what was cool about the scene, there was a Wonderbolt poster inside there, and that was really cool. So when she met Izzy and Sunny, she saw something, she saw potential in something that, and when she saw that Sunny was trying to ask about magic and such, she saw that there was a way that she could fix things, because truth be told, she couldn't fly as well, because the story went as that only the royals of Zephyr Heights could fly. But that actually wasn't the case. They were faking it. And so she told the truth to Izzy and Sunny in hopes of trying to figure this whole mess out, because she didn't want to continue living a lie anymore. And I can respect that. She wants to fix this whole mess so she can stop living a lie and maybe even fly for real. Because she would often come down to the station and activate this big fan so she can feel like she's flying. That's her dream. She doesn't want to live a lie anymore. I feel all of us can respect that, so that's why she decided to take a shot at helping Sunny and Izzy to try to restore the magic. So that's why she took them down to this station to try to figure out a plan. And so with what they found in there, they hatched an idea, and so on and so forth, and the plot progressed. And, that wouldn't have happened without Zip. She played a big importance to the progression of things. And, she wants to make things right and bring back magic, so her family wouldn't have to live a lie anymore. And it wasn't just for her sake. It's not like a selfish thing. It's for the sake of every pony around her, like her mother, her dear sister Pip Petals, who we'll get to next, because she cares, because she wants to fix everything so she doesn't have to live a lie anymore. On top of that, she seems very acrobatic, alongside with Hitch. She's a strong-willed mare as well. I'd imagine she would be a pretty decent fighter. and yeah, to elaborate on, she is acrobatic. She was bouncing off the walls of the canyon. So, that would take some pretty good strength. That being said, it seems she would do anything to try to get that feeling of flight. Then that was, like I said, that's her dream, and I can respect that. It'd be something I would do. So, she definitely has that sense of doing such things for the greater good, and, keeping folks focused on a plan. And she's very smart at coming up with a plan. She can be very sneaky. There's that. I absolutely love Zipstorm now. There, I said it. I gave her the benefit of the doubt when it comes to her as a whole, because I wasn't expecting her character to be all that good, but I still gave her the benefit of the doubt, and I was blown away, honestly. And there's that. And the fact that, like, she basically saved Hitch's life from certain doom. So there's that, you know. She's quick, and she's quite smart, and she has high determination. So there's that. So that's all I have to say about Zip Storm, and now we will move on to the next character. Next up, and the last character to be introduced into the main group, is Pip Petals. A young, short, and even quirky little pop star who seemingly just wants nothing more than to just be in the spotlight. You know, to be a idol. Not much to say about Pip Petals, other than, well, she has a very great singing voice. I do love her song. That song even got Hitch Trailblazer to shake his flank uncontrollably. So that says something. She's a great influencer, it seems. She's definitely great YouTuber material, it seems. Yes, yes, let me go to the prisoner cell. Why are you in the prison? Why are you taking photos of the prisoner? Duh, for the content. Definitely gives off the vibe of for the content feels here, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, she did say that she's, you know, down there when Sunny and Izzy were imprisoned in Zephyr Heights. Pip was literally down there for the content. And it's very obvious that she's not afraid of whatever story she was told about unicorns and earth ponies. She's not afraid of them whatsoever. She just sees this as an interesting opportunity for the content. So this whole story of unicorns and earth ponies being, you know, bad and yada yada yada, it seems it didn't really affect her. That she doesn't really care. She's just more focused on her own things rather than such, because, you know, when Pip first saw Sunny and Izzy, she was actually delighted in a sense, because she saw this as as an interesting thing to show off to her fans. Like, hey, check it out, a real unicorn and earth pony. Ain't that cool? You know, so that's a noteworthy thing to mention. That made me laugh out loud while I was watching the movie. I had to pause for a moment. Because that was really funny. She's honestly adorable, and her size makes her all the more cute, even when she's angry. And let me tell you, this particular scene right here that I'm showing on the picture, that made me laugh, and I couldn't help but say, "Aw, look how small she is." Because apparently she's very small. And yeah, she's the younger sister of Zip Storm, so it has to be expected. But yeah, a lot of folks in Zephyr Heights look up to her, in a sense. Like, they adore her. She cares a lot about her fans, you know? She wishes to be a great idol for them. She wishes to be a great idol for her fan base known as the Pipsqueaks. And, you know, she like I said, perfect YouTuber material or live streamer material. She even has her own little outro thing, you know, Pip Pip Hooray, that whole thing. I don't know why, like, Banquo and Voxel say they hate that pun, but I like it. I'm just messing with you two. I was just calling you out to see if you actually watched my video. But anyway, during an unfortunate event, she was left in the spotlight after the big secret was revealed that she couldn't fly. She was left in the spotlight, and, well, if she stuck around, she would have been arrested, which is crazy to think that she was moments away from being arrested, like her mother, Queen Haven. You know, she's clever in a sense. She snagged the crystal that the main group needed, and she just wanted answers as to why this thing was so important to ruin her show, because that's, like, you know, pretty much all she cared about at the time. About her show, her biggest debut yet, of her biggest show yet to debut her new song. And boy, what a great song it was, again. So, you know, she was quite upset that the show was ruined by such and so. But after hearing the news that, like, from her sister, Zipstorm, that there's a way to bring back magic, she decided to put all what happened aside and give it a shot, because, well, she doesn't really have much to lose after all that just happened. So maybe she saw it as a way to regain her popularity and to redeem herself. Even though, of course it's not her fault. She was just going along with things to help her live her idol dream. And she's a amazing, cute little small princess, and she needs to be protected at all times. I love her. She's very cute, very great idol material, and got the makings of a great influencer. Because she said she cared about her fans a lot. She even has her own perfume. Which, fun fact, the moment the first few frames of that scene of the perfume commercial came up, I said to myself out loud, is this like a perfume commercial of Pip? And then the perfume just popped up on screen. I was like, I called it! I was happy about that. That made me smile. I wonder what does the perfume smell like. It probably smells phenomenal. Anyway, yeah, that's what I had to say about Pip Petals. And I do wish I can say more, honestly. I'm not sure what else to say, but I do love her character. I apologize. I am not going as deeply in depth as the other characters, but that you still have my thoughts that she's a pretty interesting character, and I'm sure a lot of folks out there love her too. Voxel. Anyway, and that's pretty much it. Ladies and gentle colts, if you made it this far, then I must applaud you. You have quite a lot of patience, and you actually care about what I think about this film. That I cannot express enough of how significant that is to me, and I cannot express enough how thankful I am that you've made it this far. So, I will try to make my general thoughts and closing thoughts quick, so as to not take up any more of your time. But my general thoughts of this film is that it is just absolutely phenomenal. And what's very crazy about it is that at the time of its release, take a look at this. This movie was given a 5-star rating on the day of its release and still has it. It is absolutely great. This movie has gotten so much love from it because it's just truly a spectacle. And I got this image because Voxel Hoof shared that it was a 5 stars, and that's saying something. This was the moment we've all been waiting for this film to show us what is our next generation of ponies who will keep / restore harmony. And it's truly wonderful. Like, I was, there was when at the beginning of the film, I opened my phone and I created a notepad titled MLP A New Generation Notes. You know what I have written on this phone right here? Absolutely nothing. Because I was so enveloped in the film, I couldn't take time to pause and write notes. Because I just wanted to keep watching and watching, listening and listening to whatever this movie kept presenting me. It just goes to show the level of envelopment that I had and still have with this movie, that I was so invested into watching it that I was just left at a smile pretty much the whole time. I was frowning for the sad moments, rightfully so, because when moments come up in the movie that are sad, you frown. Or when a villain or something makes you angry, you go, ooh, that guy's not nice. It makes you feel all the right emotions that the movie wants you to feel and that you need to feel. So, that's what this movie provided. True emotions. True feelings. Greatness. And I love it. I highly recommend everybody, every pony to watch it. And honestly, to those out there who don't like it, what the hey is wrong with you? And if I may take a moment to express the severity of how great this movie is, the absolute glitz and glamour of this movie, and what I mean by that, the looks of it. It looks aesthetically pleasing. The design, I guess the graphics of how everything looks, right down from the scenes, the environments, and the ponies, all the characters, they look fantastic. And I mean, just look at the ponies and how they look, and they're so well in high definition that you can almost get a sense of how they feel if you were to touch them. You know? That's how brilliant they look. That's how smooth and clean they look. And as for the motions and animations of things and how these characters express themselves, it's so smooth. It's so clean, and it's honestly phenomenal. It blows me away how it can look this good. They really put their time and effort into this. And on top of that, the comedy, the drama, all that such, the feelings of the film during certain moments were really great. Like, I had for the comedy in sense, or pretty much for a good majority of the movie, things like comedy, it kind of gave me vibes of Zootopia, and I love Zootopia. Because, you know, the characters express themselves in mannerisms similar to characters from Zootopia, and that's pretty interesting how it seems they have that bit of similarity there, and maybe that was what they were trying to go for. And they hit it spot on, and I love that they did that. And I know I was very iffy about the whole, like, having a Disney movie feel to it, but, like, they executed things right and in their own way to where it's very unique. But yeah, to reiterate, the animations, the environmental design, the sound effects, the music, the voice acting, the video effects, all those things are just très magnifique, as Izzy would say in her song. Also, one thing I found that's pretty interesting is that, similar to Twilight, Sunny had her home destroyed. So it definitely gave you like that feel of, you know, she had a similar experience that Twilight had. And I found that to be interesting. You know, like the Golden Oak Library got destroyed, and which was Twilight's home at one point, and Sunny's home got destroyed, her lighthouse home. So I found that they may have, you know, known what they were doing there. So yeah, like I said, if you don't like this, I don't understand what is your major malfunction. But this movie is astonishing. And I can go on and on and on and on about how astonishing it really is. Seriously, do you not see the greatness that this movie is? The greatness that this movie holds? This is our next generation of My Little Pony. The thing that will keep us going, that will keep us thriving alongside with our own hearts, our own drive to keep our fandom thriving for generations to come, coupling the actual new generation with our own determination to stay thriving. This is our next generation. It's the thing that'll keep us going. How could you not like this movie? So, you know, I ask you, to those who haven't watched it, you know, just give it a chance. You will understand, and you will see what I mean, because this movie is amazing. The only thing, if I had to say anything, really, about it, like, that's nitpicky or anything of that sorts, is that it felt kind of short. I mean, the duration is 1 hour and 30 minutes, but in a way, that's a good thing, because at the end of it, it left me wanting more. It left me, like, hoping and praying that we'll get more, that we'll get to see Equestria thrive once again. And that we'll get to see more of Sunny, Hitch, Izzy, Zip, and Pip. And every pony else. Because now, you know, everything is back to the way it was. You know, harmony restored. And it's great. So, like, yeah, I say it's a good thing that, in a sense that it felt kind of short, but, well, it was very long at the same time, too, you know? Like, maybe it felt so long, but even then, after it felt so long in a sense, you would still want more, you know? Like, because I'm sure we would all want more of these folks, of these characters, this new generation, because this is now where we stand. And it feels great. And I love it. Now, fillies and gentle colts, we must talk about something rather saddening. You see, while I find this movie to be absolutely great, there's a few things that this movie did not have that I stated before that it needed to have. Unfortunately, we did not receive an answer as to why the magic of Equestria was lost. And there wasn't really a main villain in this story. Fillies and gentle colts, it's upsetting that we did not get an answer as to why the legacy of Twilight and her friends seemed to have been lost. Like, all of what Twilight did was in vain. But maybe we don't need an answer. At least, not yet. Maybe in the future, if we're blessed enough to see more from this new generation, we'll get our answers. As for the villain of this new generation, perhaps the ponies themselves were the villains if you think about it. Every pony who didn't believe in how things were in the olden days, they painted each other in a horrible light. They created disharmony towards one another, and them losing their magic was their punishment. For forgetting how things were. For forgetting how hard Twilight and her friends fought to keep the magic of friendship existing. But in the end, they all came around together and realized the errors of their ways. So maybe it didn't matter that we didn't have all the answers we wanted, and maybe it didn't matter that we didn't have a main villain in a sense. I think the message that the movie was trying to relay was that no matter how bad things get, no matter how lost Equestria may become along the way, there will always be some pony out there who will bring back the magic of friendship. And it doesn't matter how small or alone they are, they will always succeed. Because even the littlest of ponies can not only make the biggest of differences, but can change the world for the better. I'm sorry I got a little emotional there, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Anywho, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for making it this far in the video, because now you have reached the end. Those were my closing thoughts, and just wanted to put those in there for you to, think on it. I'm excited for whatever future stuff that these new generation of ponies may have in store for us. And I am proud to call them the next generation. And for making it this far, I'm going to reward you with something nice. A little bit of a teaser for a video I have coming up.
No. No, this cannot be. This is impossible. We did everything right. How can this be? We lost.
Now then, I hope you enjoyed that, and it'll leave you in a wonder. So, once again, thank you for making it this far into the video, and I cannot thank you enough. I'm interested to know what you all thought about the movie, so please, while you're on your way to leave a like, please head on down to the comment section below so we can talk all about the movie, because I'm very eager to hear what y'all have to say. Also, did any pony notice that all their cutie marks are on one side of their flanks instead of both sides? I would really like to talk about that with some pony else. Anywho, so tune in next time for whatever video I decide to make. Until then, don't lose sight of friendship, and have a truly magical day.